This
Any
conference will now be
Oh.
recorded.
Atta girl, great. Sorry.
Nope.
The minutes of the last meeting, any deletions or additions? Everybody happy with them? Hearing none, I will ask for a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Grant, seconder. Sarah, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Moving on to number 2, the adoption of the agenda as presented. Anything there that needs to be adjusted or deleted? If not, I'll ask for someone to make a motion on that one to accept. Councillor Williams, seconder. Going once, going twice. Councillor Cowan, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. All right, number 3. I gotta find this, but we'll do the 2 together, being our finances. If there's any problems there, please speak out. Any questions? If not, I'll ask for a motion to accept the financial as presented, covering both items. Councillor Cowan, Councillor Williams. Any discussion on any of the things in question? Seeing none, I will call for the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Thank you. Okay. Now, as long as this stuff doesn't blow up, we're just zipping right along here. Number 4, bylaws and bylaw 2778, fire prevention, and I'll let Rhonda take that, please.
Sure. This is our fire prevention bylaw. And if you recall, you guys gave it first reading at the previous meeting, and this was in order to allow for medical services to be provided, include Y on Schedule A, which would include but not limited to Z. I have the wrong. Just give me one moment, please. My apologies. It's bylaw. We have the wrong schedule in here. But Schedule B is the corrected schedule to allow for the changes in the rates that we were looking for at the previous meeting. We didn't have those, so now we do have the corrected Schedule B, and if you so desire, you may give second and third reading.
Can I get someone to make that? Councillor Cowan. Seconder, please. Councillor Gardner. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. We will move on to 4.2, bylaw 2781. Again, Rhonda, if you mind, please.
Okay, I think you have the wrong bylaw on there. I just realized this. We should have in here bylaw number 2787. And this is the bylaw that fixing the amount of indemnities and other expenses to be paid to the mayor, deputy mayor, and councillors. And this is where we changed the bylaw, where it would include that you would be referring to the policy.
Okay, here we go.
For your rates.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And it did receive first reading at the previous meeting.
Yes.
And this is where we did such things as we allowed for attendance at electronic meetings, on online webinars, and also allowed for citizens at large that were duly appointed to the Watershed District and Assiniboine River Basin Initiative to receive compensation. And it also spells out which which events you can't apply for compensation from.
Okay.
For.
Great, thank you. So can I get someone to make a motion to accept this as presented, please? For first reading?
It's actually second and third reading.
Second and third reading. Councillor Gardner, Councillor Wright, discussion. Everybody understands what's happening and what's going on and what figures go where. And
Councillor Penner's trying to ask a question.
go ahead.
So,
Sorry, I didn't.
the
I was
question I
reading.
have is, I wonder if, before we give the second and third reading, if we should actually have the correct one in front of us? Is there
Yes,
any rush to do this today? Like we could maybe postpone it to the next meeting?
Okay, sounds good.
yes, you can. Yeah, sorry, it's on your previous agenda. If you look at your January 26th agenda, it's on there.
Okay. And
Yeah.
that's bylaw 2781, correct?
No, it's actually 27. If you look on your, if everyone can just pull up, well, I guess if you have paper copies, you can't, unless you have
Okay.
it with you. Just
Mhm.
1 second. You just go back to your list of agendas, go to January 26th. And I apologize, this was one of those blips I was talking about earlier.
That's fine, not to worry.
And it is bylaw 2788, counselor indemnity bylaw.
Okay. Yeah, if everybody wants to wait till the next meeting till we can look at that, or if we're fine with what Rhonda just said, we can go that route too, whatever you want to do. How does everybody feel about that?
I think we should probably wait till we have the proper one in front of us and then it's on their.
Yeah, and I
property.
apologize for that. I missed that on review.
Okay, well, it's Councillor Wright.
You've got on the January 26 one, Rhonda, it's 20, like bylaw number 2787, but on the agenda, it's 2788. So I don't know which one, just to make sure, double check the numbers.
Yeah, we had a couple of boo-boos.
Okay.
The changes.
Okay,
Let's just go to wastewater treatment plant.
We'll just hang on to this to our next. Is everybody okay with that?
So are you just withdrawing your resolution?
Yeah, we'll withdraw that resolution.
Okay.
We'll do it when she's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's move along to 4.3. Now that on my thing here is bylaw 2789.
And that should be correct.
That should be right on. Okay,
Yes.
and that I'll let you speak on that. That's to do with the wastewater treatment plant.
Yes, this is the bylaw to amend our local improvement borrowing bylaw number 2750, which authorized the completion of the town of Verdon wastewater treatment facility upgrades phase 2, which was the building extension and treatment equipment. We had been authorized to spend 4 million or borrow 4 million on that project. And we did spend the 4 million, but we did receive prepayments in the amount of $656,800. And so we are required to borrow from the RBC, who, if you recall, we did put out requests for debenture rates. RBC won with a rate of 2.91% over 20 years, and we're required to borrow the amount of $3,343,200. So you should see before you actual bylaw, along with Schedule A, which is the amortization schedule, and Schedule C, which is the listing of all Oh dear, I'm having issues here. Something goofy's going on. Just kidding. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my computer right now. There, sorry, my apologies. Schedule C, which is all those that have chosen to put it towards their taxes. And Schedule D is the listing of all the properties that were not subject to the local improvement tax.
Okay. So now we need a motion for that, or?
Yes, if you council so desires, you can give it first reading and then we send it into the province for approval.
Okay, so we need a motion for first reading. Councilor Williams, Councilor Pender, did you have your finger up to be a seconder, or did you have a question?
Well, both. I'll second it first and then we'll have a discussion, right?
All right, so first and second now open for discussion. Go ahead, Councilor Pender.
Okay, so Rhonda, if we want to get nitpicky on the very first paragraph, you've got 2 million listed there and then you've got 4 million in numbers. So maybe that should just be corrected.
That will be
Technically.
corrected, yeah.
And then I noticed on Schedule A, like we got a 2.91% borrowing bylaw, but on Schedule A, it says 6%.
Yeah, that one is corrected on the second draft.
Okay,
It now says 2.91 on the agenda. Schedule A on the agenda does show 2.91.
oh, okay, good. All right, that's all I had.
Yeah, no. Because we had to change all this today because we ended up getting more payments in.
All right,
So we wanted to get them applied, so we had to change everything again.
so that option is over to prepay it, or can you still prepay it anytime?
It should be over as of today.
Okay,
Once this receives first reading, yeah. If
Okay, any more
something happens, I was gonna say, if something happens due to the postal service, because we did find one we got just at the end of last week that was postmarked January 12th. So we did, we did accept that one, obviously, and then, if we, if something comes in like that, we can, you guys can amend it on second and third reading, but this was the intended cutoff for sure.
Okay, great. Any more questions? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Grant, are you opposed or in favor?
In favor.
Okay, thank you. Carried. All right. Number 5. AMM issues and an email from AMM, pardon me. Rhonda, is this information or?
If you look at that, the email, there's actually 3 different events that are listed.
So we would have to let you know, February 11th is fairly quick.
Yes, and both Anna and Faye are attending the one on the 11th because Liza and I already had another seminar that we are attending. So Anna and
Good.
Faye are going to attend this one, but I didn't know if anyone else from council was interested in attending. If so, we need to get you registered. The Mayor's Reeves and CAO meeting is on the 13th of April. And the spring convention, which used to be municipal official seminar, is on the 14th to the 16th, which will be virtually, I'm assuming.
Right. Well,
I believe by our policy, you don't require extra approval to attend those.
okay. Okay, so we can just let Jill know on the April 13th and 14th and 16th.
Yes.
Okay, great. we can do that. Okay. Put that out here so I don't forget. Okay, we got that done. That done. That done. Number 6. Weed inspector appointment. Rhonda, do you want to handle that one for me, please?
Sure. As per the Noxious Weed Act, the town of Vernon is required to actually appoint a weed inspector each year. Lawrence is certified, and Ellen was certified for 2020 and will be writing his exam to be recertified. If council so desires, you can appoint both of them as our weed inspectors for this year.
Okay, we need that in motion form, I'm assuming.
Yes, we do.
Okay, can I get somebody? Councillor Williams, seconder Councillor Wright. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call for the question. All those in favor of those two gentlemen becoming weed inspectors? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Number 7, indoor rodeo. Again, I will ask you to comment on this one, dear, please.
We received an email from Lindsay White, who is the secretary for the Vernon Indoor Rodeo Association, and just requesting the letter of support and declaring the Vernon Indoor Rodeo and Wild West Days a signature event for the community so they can apply for their funding. Obviously, at this point, they're still uncertain whether or not there will be a rodeo or an indoor large event, or to what the event may look like, but they're just wanting to get this all in place in case we can have one.
Cool. Okay, so can I get a motion that we, Councillor Cowan, seconder Councillor Wright, any discussion? Everybody understands what that means, so we can get Rhonda to go ahead and do up a letter of support and send? Okay, everybody's in favor? Carried. Great, thank you. All right. Number 8. Request for funding Arts Mosaic. I'll let you take that one too, please, Rhonda.
Arts Mosaic has sent a letter of request for their 2021 funding. In the past, we have provided $1 per capita, or $3,300, the past couple of years, $3,322 approximately. And they have asked for an increase to $3 per capita. They're showing that studies show that exposure to and participation in the arts provides much needed health and wellness benefits. COVID-19 has highlighted the importance of the arts to enrich mental, emotional, and physical well-being. A funding increase will enable Arts Mosaic to target new programs to alleviate this stress. Our programming is vital to provide life-enhancing art to our rural communities. A $3 per capita commitment will allow us to provide innovative and quality programming at affordable rates to all community members.
Okay. Can I make someone to make a motion on this, and then we'll discuss it? Okay, nobody wants to make a motion? No, Councillor Gardner, Councillor Penner, thank you. All right, now we're open for discussion.
What's the motion?
Whether we go ahead with this or, sorry. I
Yeah.
screwed that up.
That would be to accept
I'm
this
just wondering
letter
if we
of
want to
intent.
talk amounts before we make a motion.
Councillor Williams, go ahead, please.
I would be in favor of, they get $1 per capita now. They have been doing a lot of work this year. I'd be in favor of doubling it for this year, and then have them come in and tell us like how that has been working for them. So I guess I would be in favor of a motion going from $1 to $2 per person.
Okay, Councillor Gardner, you had something you wanted to say there.
No, that's basically what I was going to say once we started to debate that motion.
Okay, great, thank you. Can I get Councillor Penner?
Yeah, on my seconding that motion didn't mean I was in agreement either, but we needed to discuss it. I think tripling it, I don't know if I'm in agreement of that either.
Okay, well, let's get a motion on the books here. Can I get someone, Councilor Williams, seconder?
And my motion is for $2.
Yeah.
So doubling
Councilor
it.
Tao. Okay, thanks, Tara. Any more discussion? Everybody's kind of on the $2 per Councilor Wright.
I'm just going to throw it out there that I still think it's that's quite a jump. I know a lot of programs ask us to increase like 10 cents, 20 cents per capita at a time. I understand that it per capita is not huge, so we're not talking a huge amount of dollars. I still think it's quite a jump. I personally think around like $1.50 per person, but that's kind of where I'm at. But I'm also, if $2 is kind of what everybody else thinks, then I'm okay with that too. I just think it's quite a jump is all. I'm not saying they don't do good programming.
Councilor Williams.
I can't disagree with you, but yeah, it is kind of a smaller amount. But they have, through the pandemic thing, been doing a lot of, like, they just put out this thing with like a dozen new online classes that they're doing and all this stuff. They've really stepped up. So I guess me thinking giving them from the $1 to the $2 this year is kind of like, you've already done a good job. Show us this year what you can do with it. And that's kind of why my motion is double it for this year. And then we'd look at it again after that, is my thinking.
Councilor Cowan.
So I think our comparisons to recreation and art should be almost the same amount, and they're quite different. Partially because, yes, it is a mental health program to take if that's your thing. For some, it's physical activity, but I do think they do some of the same things, which to me is duplicating a service. And potentially they do run a lot more stuff and hit more of the community with the costume closet and the gallery, which also brings in revenue. So I'm on both sides of the fence. I do think that they deserve an extra dollar per capita, and maybe going forward we don't ask for a huge lump sum. Maybe if we went up 10, 20, 50 cents per year, we wouldn't see it as a huge jump, whereas we just clawed back a little bit from other places, but still think that, $3,300 versus what we give to Prairie West is a huge difference, and I don't understand how they're different. That's my saying.
Councilor Penner.
Do we get a budget from them on this, or where do they spend their money?
Yes, we can
Ron?
ask for financial statements.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay, my personal opinion before we call the question. I think $1 is plenty. Maybe next year, as Tara said, as numerous ones of you have said, maybe we'd be looking at 50 cents. Everybody has to remember this year that with the revenue down as it has been just for the rink, for example, we have to be careful on where we spend all our money here. But knock on wood, we do have that money coming from Prairie West that Tina brought up the other day and Whitney brought up. So maybe we can move some of that around and help them out. But that's just my personal opinion. So I will call for the question. All those in favor of the motion as presented. Whitney, did you have a question before we do that?
Yeah, sorry. Can we ask for a delegation and maybe go over some of their programming and financials before we make them go forward? Is that an option, or does anybody just want to make a motion and go ahead?
How does everybody else feel about that? Do you want to see a budget? Do you want to have a chat with them first? Councilor Gardner?
I think we just make the motion, give them the $1 for this year, and then see where it takes them. If we want to meet with them, then we can meet with them prior to next year before we give them another increase.
Okay, Councilor Penner, did you have a question?
I just agree with what Whitney said. I think that'd be a good idea that we understand what they're doing or what they're planning.
Okay. Okay, well, let's vote on the motion we have on the floor, and then we can always change it or go to another one. We have a motion on the floor to give them $1 over and above what they're making now per capita. All those in favor and not? 1, 2, all up, 3, all opposed? 1, 2.
And how are you voting, Murray?
I'm voting for the $1 an hour, or $1 per capita, sorry.
Okay.
So with that, we have 4, 5,
Two.
4, and 2 again. But I do agree that we should probably ask them for a budget. We're giving them money to give us a budget and let us know their future plans. I think Travis has got a good point. Okay, let's move along to number 9, sorry. Letter of authorization from Aerial Services. Rhonda, please.
Yes, Merce Aerial Services has been hired by the Prairie Gateway Tourism Board to provide photography and videography services. And so they do require a letter of permission from the town to allow them access to municipally owned property to take photos and video footage to be captured by drone, with the understanding that all permits and licenses required from any regulating body for the operation of the drone have been obtained. And the Arma Wallace Woodworth are doing a similar motion as well.
Okay, Councillor Cowan.
I'll make the motion that we authorize them to use our land for photo and videography.
Okay. Seconder, Councillor Wood. Okay, discussion. Anybody have any questions? Understand what's happening here? Everybody okay with it? Councillor Penner?
Just a question, are there any privacy or disturbance issues about this, or could potential issues that we should consider?
Councillor
Well, I
Cowan,
don't-
do you wanna?
Yeah, so basically, the company is going around to every place that they're actually taking video or photos of and getting this authorization. So I don't think that I would be worried about that, because they're gonna have a binder full of authorization. So I wouldn't be concerned about that. And they also have the required licensing and everything to fly that drone. So I'm assuming that's addressed in some type of license document. And the fact that they are receiving authorization for everybody that they will be using their land or their business or anything. I would say that that's covered, unless you have any other thoughts.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, having heard none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
May I ask you a second in that? I'm sorry, I missed it. I have Cowan and
I forget too. Councillor Williams or Councillor Penner. One, either one.
it was Williams. I don't know. I can check the recording later.
We're gonna get Carl in here too. He just don't know it yet. Okay, number 10, Recreation Manitoba Conference. And Rhonda, I'll let you speak to that one, please.
Yes, the Recreation Manitoba Conference is coming up on, just let me get here, March the 9th.
10th and 11th.
Sorry, thank you, Councillor Cowan. Actually, Councillor Cowan suggested perhaps I put this on the agenda to see if anyone from council or would be interested in attending. I'm thinking probably some staff are attending, but yeah. There is actually, looks some really good articles this year, or article sessions, I should say.
When, Councilor Cowan, sorry.
I would make a motion to send all of council as per policy if you're wanting to go. And I seen Whitney's hand up.
Okay, thank you. Seconder on that would be Whitney, I'm assuming. Any more questions, folks? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Councilor Penner, did you have a question or you just wanted to vote early?
Just voting early, I guess.
You're a good man. Thank you. Okay. Let's move along to number 11, being our handy van. Rhonda, if you want to speak on that one, please. Or do we have, who is on our handy van? Grant, is that you anymore or no?
I missed your question there, Murray.
I just say you're the one that's on the handy van thing.
That's correct.
Okay, but I think this is information, Rhonda. Am I correct in saying that or no?
Well, actually, the handy van committee does require this resolution from the town of Virden, because the town of Virden basically accepts all responsibility for the program and accepts any deficit that it may incur. So this, you'll find attached the operating report that Mrs. Hayward has completed, and so this goes in, and this is to allow them to get their provincial funding.
Great, thank you. Can I get someone to make a motion to, please? Councilor Gardner, seconder. Councilor Williams, any discussion? Councilor Cowan.
So the operating budget isn't running at a 0. So we're assuming that risk of that amount there?
Oh,
Let me,
Are we running at a deficit, Tara?
and for last year, they would have been at a deficit, but you're hoping to get out of that deficit, Councilor Gardner, is that correct?
That's correct. We applied for the bridge grant and we were fortunate to get that. We got $10,000 on the bridge grant. And we also applied for $1,000 for can't remember the grant. I was in the other day to plan to work on it and hopefully we can get it well. And plus the handy van is up and running again right now. So they are making a few trips. So things are starting to look a little bit better than what they have been.
good, excellent. Okay, Councilor Penner.
So are we being asked to approve that, that deficit? Is that the question? I think they're showing
That's the
20.
town could be
20,
held
29.
responsible.
Sorry.
The town could be held responsible if they do not get out of the deficit, yes.
So could you just sum this up for us then? Like, how much are we actually committing to here? The $24,000 deficit plus what funding?
Right now, you're not necessarily committing to any dollar amount, providing the handy van committee, providing the handy van recovers itself and doesn't hold due to deficit positions.
Except for that $3,000 that we're
Except for the
providing as a sponsor.
$3,000. Yes. And I don't see the 10,000 included in her revenue either. This is what she's, yeah, this doesn't include the 10,000 in revenue.
This is 2020
20,
Money
21.
we received in 2021.
And you received it in 21, right?
Right.
But the operating budget
It
is
is the
for
budget.
21, right?
Yeah, and she doesn't have it included here.
But wouldn't the first 5,000 for
The
the
grant
bridge
was-
grant? The first 5,000 would have been in 2020, right?
No, they got all their money in
Mm.
2021 because they couldn't apply in 20 and then they changed the requirements. So then they got the whole amount in 21. And right now, this is a budget, so not their actual deficit, right?
That's correct.
So if we take that bridge grant off the deficit at the bottom, that's what we're under, or that's what we're being requested for then, to underwrite?
At this time, you're not being requested for any actual dollar amount unless they do actually,
So it's just the
if
commitment.
their user fees are down, their wages are going to be down too. Correct, Councillor Gardner?
Yeah, there is a surplus in their bank accounts. There is money there. The town wouldn't have to pay for this because there's money been put away for a new van, upgrade of a new van in future years. There is money there, so I wouldn't worry too much about their deficit here.
And this goes in so that they will get provincial funding. So hopefully that the province will recognize that they do require more funds, especially due to COVID, and will up the amount in their operating grant.
Pardon me. Okay, any more questions? We have a motion on the floor. So I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried, thank you.
And Mayor Wright, we'll have to get you to come in and sign that resolution so that we can jump up prior
Would
to
it be
March.
ready tomorrow?
I can come in tomorrow and sign that, yeah. And I'll
Yeah, and
bring
then
my-
we can let Ev know that it's ready.
Yeah. And I'll bring my computer in too so we can see what's going on with it. Anyway, Ed did a good job. That looks good. Make sure we let her know. Okay, number 14, or number 12, sorry. And this is our deputy mayor's little ball of fun here. So she's doing a hell of a job, pardon my French. And I'll turn it over to you there, young lady.
There's a bunch of different attachments there for you that Kelsey and I have put together that are, the schools have agreed, Marymount, Golter, and junior high are going to take part, possibly not every classroom, but the majority of them in this contest. So we've laid out different requirements for different age groups. We're going to go to a couple of businesses in town and ask for small prizes for the winner from each grade. We're going to give certificates for the winners in each grade. I'd like the town to as well put forward a gift for the ones that win each. I want to put forward a motion to get a small budget for this project. We're going to do all the printing of the papers and stuff that's going to the town, going to the schools out of the town office, so that we kind of just take what they want and drop them off in bundles for the kids to do. And then once we have permission for this, and what I'd like the town to put forward for prizes for the 9 grades plus the winner is small fruit trees that we can get at a good price through Ryan at the watershed, because he gets good prices on them from. We have it figured out that it's probably paper, and this includes paying the town office for the printing of the paper and everything, like the budget that is how much it costs to print the paper, buy the printer, buy the fruit trees and everything, would probably be between $300 and $400. So I'd like to ask for 5, just so we have a little bit extra in case something goes wrong, there's something we haven't thought of. And then once that's in place, we'll fine tune the letters and go looking for a committee, and hopefully by the end of May, beginning of June, we have a name for our orchard. And I talked to all the principals and they all seemed quite excited, and I've asked a few kids that I know, and I think it will be a good project. When this is all done, there is signature things you'll notice on the bottom of the pages, giving permission for us or any of our partners, as in us, Sport La Bosse, the Watershed, or Tree Canada, to use any of these submissions in any of our advertising on social media or anywhere else. So the plan is for us that any kids who get them signed, we're going to upload them in folders and put them on our town website. And that should draw a lot of people into our town website and showing them where it is, because every grandma and grandpa from everywhere will have to, of course, sign in to see their kids' entry on our website. So we're going to use it for advertising, for Facebook, all those kinds of things as well. And then hopefully go back to Tree Canada looking for some money. So I'd like to make the motion that we give a budget of up to $500 to the orchard naming contest.
Can I have a seconder for that, please? Councillor Cowan. Great. Any more discussion? One thing I would like to mention, I think this is a great idea. Tina's done a heck of a job with this already. Rhonda's been there to help her along the way as well, so they've both done a good job at it. But one thing I'm going to mention, the $500 budget for this year I'm in favor of, but we are going to look at some more. I hope we are going to look at some more areas of planting, and I'm hoping that next year we'll need a little bit more money to keep financing what we're doing. So it might be a line item on our budget for the year. Councillor Cowan, or Councillor Quinn, sorry.
Just as a note to that, because the trees we're going to buy for the kids are some smaller ones and then larger one, but there actually are not a lot of fruit trees to be had until probably late summer, that we may not be able to do this. There's been such a run on the homesteady, grow your own food sort of thing, that Jeffries is actually running quite low on fruit trees. So I'm keeping an eye on the Tree Canada site. They haven't put the edible fruit tree projects back up yet. Not that they're very expensive, but I am keeping an eye on it. But yeah, when we had our watershed meeting, somebody else in the group was like, I want that money too. I want to have those trees. So it obviously has worked well, but we kind of bought out all of them. So yeah, it might have to wait another year.
Good. Okay, the motion's on the floor. Any more question? If not, I'll call for the motion. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Great. Thank you, Tina. I can only see it. Hopefully every year we can plant some trees in the town of Virden, and the next council, I hope they keep this going. Okay. Pardon me. Number 13, committee reports. Councillor Gardner, we'll start with you tonight, please.
Oh, turn your mic on.
Can't hear you, Grant. Your mic.
Had a council meeting on the 26th. HTFC workshop on the 27th. Planning and Finance Committee meeting on the 2nd that was postponed.
Great. Okay, thank you. Councillor Williams.
I took part in the HTFC Zoom meeting as well. I sat in on a phone meeting with the skate park, about the person who is, has the contract to build the skate park, because obviously in COVID times, we're trying to keep in contact with everybody, and it sounds like things will move forward in spring, but we, of course, can't really guarantee anything with that, but we had a good meeting with him. I sat in on a human resources contract review committee with Tara and Murray. I sat in on, this is the only time I have actually, because Murray couldn't come, and I thought I would, on a meeting with the new water project people. It was interesting. It was not my usual line, so a little bit of it was over my head, but it was interesting to kind of hear how it's moving along. I attended a watershed meeting. Like I said, talking about the orchard before, we had a bit of a chat about how trees are getting more popular and stuff like that. A few of the projects that they're going to do. We talked about the fruit trees, talked about them buying a tree spade so towns like us could borrow it. And Darcy Oliver from Prairie View is the chairperson, and Merv Starzik from Shoal Lake is the vice chair for our area. And I think that's all I got.
Great, thank you. Councillor Wright.
I had 2 Verdon Employment Skills Center meeting to updo the terms of reference. And I was in a webinar called To the Finish Line and Beyond. Wasn't my favorite webinar, but still something to learn. I feel like I had another meeting, but I can't remember.
Okay. How are they making out, Whitney, with their terms of reference? Are they got them just done, or they are completed?
They're not quite done. We have another meeting next week. They're meeting almost weekly, if not bi-weekly, to get them done though. So there's a lot of progress right now.
Great, thank you. Councillor Collins.
I attended the same webinar as Whitney, and I think I didn't remember what it was called, but I really enjoyed it, and they really hit home the importance of strategic planning, which I think is really important for us to all be on the same page. There were some really good points even for staff, and I know Rhonda was there, so I'm sure she'll have some brilliant ideas to bring us. And then I also attended the HR committee meeting on Wednesday night, and that was it for me. Oh, planning and finance
Great.
before this meeting.
Great, thanks, Sarah. Councillor Fenner.
Well, this was a couple of weeks of postponements for me. We postponed planning and finance. I joined the webinar with MP Brad Michalewski, I think that's the way they pronounced it, for their where they laid out their vaccination plan. And obviously that's all been postponed as well. And a library meeting yesterday, which was postponed. So that's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Carl. Pardon me. Carl, do you have anything?
He didn't get into the meeting, Murray.
Good, no problem. Okay, Rhonda, I'll turn it over to you, please.
I don't know. Seems like there's been an awful lot going on in these last few days. I did attend the HTFC meeting. We did have a staff meeting with MI to discuss a few things. Some of the requests, suggestions that have been coming forth from council. We've also had a couple of meetings with Mac Tower to discuss the cooling tower at the arena. We've had calls with municipal relations the last 2 weeks as well. One was the call with the MLA regarding the vaccination sites. We also had an MMAA budget webinar, the site meeting as well with the project, which kind of has been postponed this week as far as the pipeline work. And that's just because of the weather. Obviously, they had a few things to complete, installing flush outs, stuff like that. So everyone was in agreement to just hold that off for a week or so, see how it goes. Of course, we had the contract review committee. We also had meetings with Prairie HVAC to discuss some of the matters at the arena as well. The AMM seminar, yeah, I enjoyed it too. Gord McIntosh, he's one of my favorites from way back. I've been to a lot of sessions, both in person, like mostly in person with Gord, and yeah, he's a very good presenter and very knowledgeable. A couple of meetings with developers too, and trying to find time to get everything together for Antoine. Keep that going, as well as the airport. We're trying to get meeting over that. We do have some traction on that though. And yeah, tomorrow is the Southwest Expo for any of you that are registered. Don't forget that that is on. And I did get a meeting from MI, a letter from MI today. And just to let you know, the work on King Street will require some engineering that we anticipate occurring in 2021 with paving plan for 2022. The department will take your request for paving the additional streets into consideration, and that was requesting the paving of 7th Thomas Drive. In the interim, our maintenance forces will continue to perform regular maintenance and keep the roads safe. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. So hopefully what we'll see in 2021 is the bridge done, and then 2022 see King Street done.
Great, thank you. For myself, a lot of those meetings with Tina and Rhonda, AMM, and again, planning and finance tonight, and I did miss a few things because of a death in the family. But yeah, that's what all I got for tonight. And thank you all.
Sorry.
Pardon me, go ahead.
No, you go finish what you're saying, Murray.
I was just going to say thank you to all of you in the town for the flowers. They're still sitting here and they're still doing really well, and thank you very much. Go ahead, dear.
Okay. I just sort of wanted to put it out there, the new public health orders that were announced today, and they mentioned about recreation facilities being open at 25% capacity for one-on-one. We as the town do not know what that means. We haven't had any direct correspondence with public health other than to be told that they don't know exactly either. So we are following up with public health and hope to hear in the next day or two what exactly this means for our facility. And we will be posting it on both of our Facebook pages and on the website as soon as we do know. So please keep tuned.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, we will move along to number 14, notice of motion. I believe there is none. So can I get someone to make a motion that we adjourn to in camera, please? Councillor Gardner, Councillor Williams, all in favor? Great, thank you. So we'll hit non-record and we'll go into in camera.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, folks, if there's nothing else tonight, I will get someone to make a motion that we adjourn our meeting. Councillor Williams, Councillor Cowan, all in favor? Carried. Great. Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned. Sorry for all the technology. Thank you, Beth. Tina.
Yes. Sorry for those errors on those bylaws. Like I said, that's some of those blips that we might have. We'll just have to take some more time getting stuff together.
We'll get them all straight, not to worry.
Yeah.
Hey, Rhonda, before we leave, 10 a.m. on Tuesday, would that work for Travis and Tina?
Do you maybe want to stop the record, Rhonda?
Oh.
This conference will now be recorded.
Oh, just a minute.